Welcome to the Pizza Pod Party with Arthur Bavino and Alfred Schultz. On today's show,
our guest is columnist, political commentator, and podcast host S.E. Cupp of CNN. We have pizza news, and our pizza topic is Jamaican beef patties.
Hello again. Welcome to the party, pal. I'm Alfred Schultz.
And I'm Arthur Bovino of NYC Best Pizza. I'm a New York-based author and editor who's been writing about America's best pizza since 2012. And Alfred, I'm writing a pizza book.
Oh boy, I've been hearing some things. Do tell.
Well, Publishers Marketplace has announced that the book that I've been working on for several years with Uni, Pizza Ovens, our former sponsor, by the way. Yeah, it's going to be coming out hopefully next spring.
Do we have a title?
It's going to be. There's a working title. It's
Okay.
It was originally called Deep Cuts.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to have to be done to it. Cut it deeply.
That should be fun. Very fun. We are back in the swing of things. Back in the groove. Back in New York groove. I don't know what that means, but we're here. We are talking pizza. We have a fun guest. Just a reminder to everybody that this podcast is produced, created, all of that, just the two of us. You know, right now we are totally independent at the moment as of recording this. And, I've been hearing there's a lot of things, trends in podcasting right now with video, with all of these things. And, I do listen to Mark Maron sometimes on WTF, and he was talking about how he is analog. We're analog, baby. And this podcast is very much that. This is, if there's an organic podcast, that's what this is right now. So if you are enjoying it, if you do like this podcast, all of those things we say, just remember, try to spread, send it, text it to your friends, rate, review, all that stuff. That is super, super helpful to an independent podcast such as this. So we appreciate you all for listening. We're not asking for any money. There's no Patreon as of yet or anything like that. So, try to watch our clips when you can and support this podcast any way you see fit. That would be really nice.
Alfred, did you have any pizza over the past week, this past Easter spring
I did.
Break
we went to Star Tavern once. That was very fun in New Jersey.
Oh,
very good spot.
How often do you go to Star Tavern? I feel like this is
once a month.
This is definitely
maybe a little less.
Regular. Yeah, once a month.
It's a good spot.
It's about how many times we go to our family spot, which is Grupo here in the East Village. But I went down to Florida. My folks have a place down there. We went to visit them in Naples. And it's become a tradition, a family tradition now. Every year, we've done this 3 years in a row, to go to this place called Joey's on Marco Island. And the funny thing about Joey's is that they serve Chicago thin crust. They also have giardiniera you can order and Italian beef and the whole works. It's not as thin as some of the places that I've, really have been heralded for Chicago thin crust in my experience, but it's really good. They do the traditional tavern style cut. And if you're down there, I'd recommend going. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm talking about Chicago pizza more and more on this show. You think you're rubbing off on me?
Yeah, I think it was my father, after listening to Ike Barinholtz, he said something like, does Arthur get frustrated that it's so many Chicago guests? And I said, well, how often are we talking about New York pizza? Every single episode. So, I don't think it's that big of a deal when the default is always New York. And we are based out of the New York metropolitan area. So, look, a good guess is a good guess.
I completely agree. A good guess is a good guess. We've got more Chicago and New York pizza items coming up in this show even, so there you go.
Yes, we do. Well, this is a good episode. Let's get to our interview. S.E. Cupp coming up.
it's the Pizza Pod Party special guest.
S.E. Cupp is a TV host, podcast host, columnist, and author. You can see her on CNN and read her stuff in the New York Daily News. She hosts iHeart's Off the Cup podcast. We welcome S.E. Cupp to the Pizza Pod Party.
What a charming guest. S.E. is a really good sport, really could hang. I've known her for a very long time. She was friends with my brother Bill, so I've known her pretty much ever since I moved to New York many, many years ago. And I will say, too, she is one of those brave people in the sort of a pundit sphere where she called out her own party, and I don't even know if it's her own party anymore, but very brave in that sense, and I respect that. And she's got some really interesting opinions about pizza. And we talk about regional styles and the good and bad of that. And real good time hanging out with SE.
I don't want to diminish what you just said to kick us off there and explaining, but also very brave for facing off against you and your soda and pizza pairings here in the episode.
Well.
So I was very happy to see that.
Yes, we do have a debate, quite a debate, I think, in this. Probably one of the most heated debates she's ever had in her entire career of going on television to debate people. I think this was, I don't know. She probably had to take a week off of work to collect herself after this, but really good, really fun. SC Cupp here on the Pizza Pod Party. I was listening to your podcast. You mentioned something that I really liked. You were talking about just how much you love restaurants. Like, I love that idea. Sometimes we don't state the obvious. Like, yes, people like restaurants. How often does someone just say, I love going to restaurants? And it got my brain thinking about a lot of things. But to get it to pizza off the bat, and we can talk about restaurants as a whole, but what do you think would make you love a pizzeria? What about a pizzeria would you love?
Well, I do love a pizzeria, and I love all restaurants, let me just say.
Yeah.
It's not like I only love fancy restaurants or I love restaurants and the experience of going to restaurants. It's my hobby.
It's the best.
And when you talk about stating the obvious, I tried for a long time to figure out what are my hobbies? That it can't be just going to restaurants, but I fully embrace it now. That's my hobby. It's what I want to do when I retire. I love it. A pizzeria is an interesting vibe.
Yeah.
And I like a vibey pizzeria. So I like a plastic table or countertop. I like grated cheese on the table.
Okay.
Paper napkins.
Okay.
Paper plates.
Oh, okay.
You're more of a slice shop kind of a person than it sounds.
Well, I call them slićes to make them a little bit more fancy. But yes, I love a sliće.
Sliće.
Love that.
When I think of a pizzeria, I think of going to get a sliće. Not sitting down and ordering a beef. Now that said,
Yeah.
We have a great local pizzeria in Connecticut. It's not New Haven style.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, I am sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we've got
Rico's?
It's Rico's or Colony Grill. It's the same kind of thin hot oil pizza.
Yep. Okay.
I love it. I love it. And Rico's is in my town. So that pizzeria is a bit elevated, but it's very fun and the pizza's terrific. And that does come full pies, but they're so thin you can eat a full pie.
See this, I'm glad you went here because I was going to ask you if you were a the Rico's clan or the Colony clan. If you had to choose one, and by the way, we're doing this on April Fool's Day. I did see that Rico's April Fool's post was the hot oil pie is off the menu. That
is an obvious joke because it's the reason you go there.
Yes.
It's the reason you go there. And it's wonderful. I prefer Rico's, but a very similar taste.
Yeah.
Very similar pizzas. But I love the hot oil pizza. It's a kick that I didn't know I needed on my pizza. And it's a very specific pizza. I don't compare it. It's its own thing. And I love it. I love it.
So, but is this a slice? I'm trying to Google it here. Is this a slice shop? Are you sitting down with your family for Rico's?
It's not a slice. It's not a sliće.
It's not.
Okay. It's not a sliće. Sorry.
This is not a sliće pizzeria.
So this is you're sitting down with your family. This is a restaurant. Okay.
Yes.
They have a limited menu. It's pizzas, a couple salads, an app or two, but it's not pasta. But it's a pizza place.
I think Colony also does a salad bar pie. Also,
so does Rico's.
Alfred, if you haven't been, you have to go because Rico's is a chain now. So is Colony. They have multiple locations. But there's one in Long Island. Even I'm pretty sure there's got to be one in Jersey. But it's a bar pie, super thin crust, whole pie place. It's more of a pub kind of. It's definitely your kind of place.
Okay, I like that.
It's great. And Rico's is really expanding. And so we got a brand new one in town and it's where all the families go. You go after Little League, you go, for lunch. It's just great. It's really good.
And the family can agree on this spot. You have a son.
Yeah, everyone loves it.
You have a husband. Everyone loves it.
Loves it. Yeah. Kiddo loves it. Everybody.
All right. So we're here now. We're talking families now too. So you have a son, husband. Mm-hmm. Is there when you're ordering pizza, any disagreements, any things it can be tough navigating the space with, more than two people. Sometimes just two people is tough with pizza, but how are we doing this? What is the order?
Yeah. I mean,
Where are we going?
How deep should we go here?
Well, I mean, if you're ever going to talk about this is probably the space to do it. So go
This
ahead.
is where the husband pizza category would come up. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, on day to day on the reg, we agree. We agree on, we're into Rico's tonight, or we want like a New York style pizzeria whole pie.
Okay.
We live in those. However, my husband's from Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but hold on.
Are we talking about grilled pizza now all of a sudden? Where are we going here? Okay.
I'm from Massachusetts, so it's related. We're related. I'm familiar with Rhode Island. Rhode Island has some great foodstuffs, some weird foodstuffs, but some great foodstuffs. I love Rhode Island calamari. I love Dell's. I love coffee milk. Okay. But they have a thing that's erroneously called
pizza strips.
Pizza strips.
There we go.
Okay. See, I don't even know about this.
This is offensive on many levels.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
And apologies to Rhode Islanders, but like I love you and I love a lot of other things, but this grinds my gears. Okay, it's called pizza strips. It's not pizza for several reasons. There is no cheese on it. It is not hot. You are eating cold bread with cold tomato sauce.
Okay.
It's like basically a bakery pizza. It's a bakery. Yeah, it's a pan pie. It's a pan bakery
Say
pizza.
whatever words you want to describe it, but like it is not a pizza, sir.
And he loves this, and he
Yes,
considers
very
it
protective of
pizza.
this.
Okay,
You don't get it a lot because luckily it's contained to that state.
Yeah.
But he will want it when we're driving through, and he'll pick it up. And my only issue with it is calling it pizza. If you want to call it something else, then it's just something I don't like. But it's doubly offensive because I don't like it, and you're calling it pizza to trick people.
Yeah,
Ostensibly, the first time you had this experience, you did try it. I'm assuming. So, but then after that, you're like, that's it. You keep that over your side of the car. I don't. You don't eat it ever again. I take it.
There was never a like, well, I'll learn to like this, or no. And I think even Portnoy went to do his pizza rating. It didn't go well. Okay, it didn't go well. For I call it red bread. It's red bread. Okay.
It looks like an appetizer. It looks like a bright red.
I don't care when you have it. It is awful.
Tomato strip.
Whenever you have it.
Yeah.
It's just not good. Anyway, but people there like it.
Yeah.
Really feel protective of it.
Yeah.
So really that's the only like pizza disagreement we have. And it doesn't come up often.
And at Rico's you can have your own pie. So you don't even need to split.
Correct.
You don't even so that's
That's
correct.
interesting.
But we all like Rico's, so it's not an issue. But he'll go when he's driving through Rhode Island and pick up pizza strips and enjoy them himself. But he's no longer trying to convince me to have them.
But he sends you a text of the photo of the pizza strips as he's.
Well, I got him like a T-shirt that has like pizza strips on it. Like it's people who live in Rhode Island, it's like you went to summer camp. Like if you meet another Rhode Island person, they're going to be like, "Oh, you are from Rhode Island too? Do you know so and so?" And they do inevitably. And so they're very protective over these little niche things that they all know about that no one else knows about. And so, I'm going to get in some trouble here for saying what I said about pizza strips, but it's out of affection for Rhode Islanders.
The state is 4 miles, I believe. And I will say part of it is the fun dichotomy of I love local foods. I love local pride, but I also love making fun of it. So like, I love that it exists so we can all make fun of it. And I'm happy for them. I have my own weird Chicago stuff that people make fun of me for. So it makes the world go round, and it's good we have these. But let's also be happy to make fun of it any chance we get all the time.
I think if you're going to put yourself out there as we are known for this thing.
Yeah.
And you're owning this thing, and it's weirder than other things in other states, you have to take the good with the bad. You get the fandom, but you also have to get the outsider not understanding it.
Yeah.
And because of the internet, all of these things are now rising to the surface more. You can buy T-shirts of that weird local thing, and it becomes sort of like where you're saying that, like going to the same summer camp. It becomes almost like gang symbols. Where if I see someone wearing a Chicago flag, it's like not everyone can recognize it. I do.
The Chicago flag.
Yeah. Like, and then, or like an old style beer t-shirt. I'm like, I know what that is. Wink, go Bears.
Right.
You know, like, so we can have this sort of secret language that's really fun.
Yes.
So let's talk
Yes.
about local stuff. You moved around a lot. And I know Andover, Massachusetts was a stop. You were born in San Diego, you know, and I know, you were in the Chicagoland area too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona, Chicago, Maryland, Michigan, mostly outside of Boston. But yeah, I lived all over the place.
We certainly don't have to go through every single time you had pizza in every single one of those states, but I would like to know, in terms of memories growing up, what stuck out pizza-wise for you.
Well, I had a birthday party at, let's see if you can guess. Andover, Massachusetts. Let's see if you can guess.
It wouldn't be Chuck E. Cheese.
No. Like, this is niche. You would have to like be from Massachusetts because someone from Massachusetts would get this in a second, because everyone who grew up in Massachusetts had a birthday party here. It's
the
Papa
Union
Gino's.
Oyster House in Boston. You had a birthday party.
No, but I love that restaurant.
Me too.
I love that restaurant.
Every 6-year-old's dream birthday spot.
That would be a very nice birthday spot. But
Yes,
no, there was a Papa Gino's in the strip mall next to the Market Basket and the
There you
TJ
go.
Maxx. And this is where I had maybe 6th or 7th birthday party. And I got my first record album, which was Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet.
Of course you did, yes.
Totally inappropriate, but I
No,
loved it.
Wonderful, yeah.
I mean, it was inappropriate for a 7-year-old girl. Let me just tell you.
John Bon Jovi made it appropriate. He was such a, nice fella.
Yes. But that was such an era, and that even like all those things in one moment
Yeah.
really, I think, like identifies my childhood. It's regional.
Yeah.
It's casual. It's not fancy. So I remember that. I remember having, like, because I lived out west as a young kid too, and having terrible pizza. But that's because the West wasn't as developed as it is now. Like Scottsdale, Arizona didn't have great pizza 40 years ago.
Yeah.
California had okay pizza, and they tried to do California pizza, which was just like not for me. But obviously now you can get anything there. But it wasn't until I moved to New York that I had the best pizza.
Yeah.
No offense. The best pizza, which is a New York slice. Yeah. It wasn't until I moved to New York as like a college student that I really had the best pizza.
Okay, so you were because I've done my research, Essie. So, we have Cornell and then we have NYU. Are you counting Cornell as part of the New York experience, even though it's upstate?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm not. I graduated in 2000, moved to New York City. That's when I really first had like good pizza.
Do you remember the first place that you had pizza?
I
in
do.
New York that you
100%. Jay's 16th and 7th. It's my favorite New York City pizza.
Huh.
It's so good because it's simple New York City pizza. There's nothing to it, but it's greasy, thin, salty. I don't like sweet sauce pizza. That's gross. I like salty. It's perfect. It's perfect pizza. And it's still there. Still a crowd pleaser.
I have never been to Jay's. I will have to go check
Oh,
that
wow.
out.
That's tough to stump Arthur in Manhattan Pizza.
16th and 7th. If you're ever in Chelsea, like that's where you go.
Rewind for a second at Cornell, because I had a really good friend that went to Cornell. My brother went to Ithaca College, and DP Dough, was that a thing? I was blown away by DP Dough.
Yes.
It's pizza
but
adjacent.
That's calzones.
Yeah, it's calzone. I mean, it's like this weird hybrid of like a slice shop, sliće, if you will, and like a deli counter,
sliće.
where it's like, they're like sandwiches, but it's also very pizza. They're calzones, but they have like a wide range of calzones. But
what's up with you lately? You keep trying to turn this into a calzone show. I don't understand.
Look, I'm just saying it's pizza
They're not
adjacent.
Related.
It's pizza
It's
adjacent, But so was that
bread,
something?
Bread, sauce, and cheese.
Yeah, right. It's very similar. I don't think it's weird.
Yeah, we had DP Dough was where you went late night, and I lived above a sliće shop at Cornell.
Okay,
and it was good. It was good, but it wasn't New York pizza. But it might have been the best I'd had at that time.
Okay,
because it was close to New York pizza. But DP Dough was for calzones, and you just got this like a mess of a thing in a box. And you didn't care because you were so drunk when you were eating it. Yeah. And I don't know if it's still there, but it was that was huge when I was in college.
I think it is, and it's like a chain. I think now, so like it's
really?
a lot of places. Yeah, it's not like I don't
good
think
for them.
I think around upstate. Yeah, it's delicious, man. It's real good.
Good for them.
As long as Alfred's
Yeah.
going to turn this into the calzone
Hey.
show, then I'm going to have to ask you a calzone related question that we've started asking, which is when you have your calzone, you get your little side of sauce, your marinara on the side. Do you dip, sip, or pour?
Pour.
Which one?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's a pour into the calzone, take a bite kind of situation.
For me, but what about you?
I kind of do, I think I do the bite and then the sip. That way I don't get the cheese in the sauce by dipping and it doesn't spill out. And
Wait,
then
you
I also
sip
don't
the sauce?
pollute. Yes, why not?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard you say that before. That seems very strange, but that's very weird. You dip.
Thanks.
The answer is
Thanks
you
for
dip.
being so open-minded
No.
about pizza
Just-
and calzones, Alfred.
You dip
really-
it.
it's
That's
great.
how you do it.
I
That's-
pour it. I pour it.
You pour it. See, that's
I
so
pour.
sloppy to me. You get it on your fingers.
It's
No,
way
it goes
less
in
sloppy.
the calzone. It's self-contained.
It goes right in the calzone.
Oh, you're pouring it
Yeah.
Dip
inside
is
the calzone.
sloppiest.
Okay,
Yes, you take a
I was
bite
picturing
off,
like
pour
icing.
in, then bite. Yeah.
All right.
The dip, the sauce goes everywhere. You
It's,
lose
yes,
a lot
it depends
of
on the
sauce.
calzone. You have to hold it a
And
certain
dips
way.
it.
Pours
Yeah.
out. It becomes a complete mess. You've got.
All right, I'm still standing by dipping.
It's going upside down. That's
Okay.
exactly right. The pour for me is the neatest.
Pouring you can share too. Also, like I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's hard to share a calzone. I mean, I hear you. You
100%.
don't double dip, but it's hard to share
You
a
could
calzone.
tear it in half. Each person gets a half, and then you can pour in. Just saying.
All right. Well, New York City, you're in New York City after college. You are writing a lot. And one thing I'm curious, we've talked to a lot of writers, and I am not a writer, but I wonder if, I know there's a lot of routines that go into writing. And some people don't have any routine. They just write whenever or however. But is eating ever a part of your routine, writing? Or is it specifically absolutely not, I need to be in a completely different space writing?
I don't often eat and write at the same time, but I will if I just have to get it done and I just need to shove something in my mouth because I'm running, and I will. But no, generally I sort of like to wall off when I'm writing, whether that's for 20 minutes or I'm writing a book now and I've written books in the past.
Yeah.
Or, so hours of the day. I like to wall off that time and not make it like casual on the couch. I want it to feel like work. I want it to feel
Yeah.
like business to like motivate me and keep me disciplined.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just I could start bed rotting.
Yeah.
I mean, when I used to smoke, it could be like smoking and drinking and writing, or smoking and drinking coffee, smoking and drinking alcohol. But eating and writing, I just feel like
Yeah.
I have to be in the right. You get full, then you're uncomfortable. You can't sit. It's like, I don't know.
You get messy and
Get
you're here
messy.
with,
yeah.
the,
But you smoked
So
at your
I
desk,
generally
Arthur?
don't.
What? I'm learning so
Well, at
much
home.
today.
At home, I
Wow.
would smoke and smoke,
Oh,
drink
God
coffee,
bless.
smoke, have a glass of wine while you're smoking and writing or whatever.
I never did the drinking and writing, and not for any reason, really, because that sounds fun. And I think when I was growing up and imagining myself a writer, I imagined myself like with like a clove cigarette and French music playing and
Sure.
like a glass of rosé, writing. That's what I imagined, but I never did that. And
Alfred, this is like 15 years ago, mind you, just
No,
for the record.
I love
here.
it,
Let's
though.
make sure this is on the record here.
But I loved your while sort of the vices are in place there, Essie. I love your version of like the romanticizing writing. You have the rosé, you have the fancy cigarette.
Yeah,
to me, it's
there's
like
nothing
I'm
like that.
Studs Terkel. I have like, I'm drinking a cheap scotch and I have a cigar in my mouth and I'm just disgusting. That's my romanticism.
I love that too.
With a fedora that says press pass,
And I think of like Jimmy Breslin too, and some of like, but like my romantic writing version was for me, but I also romanticized like the Jimmy Breslin, like the hard New York columnist
Exactly.
in the newsroom, like, yelling at secretaries. I mean, that's fun too. It's nothing like that. First of all, I mostly work at home, so there's no newsroom
Yeah.
anymore.
You're still yelling at secretaries, which is weird. You're just calling up random secretaries to yell at them, which I always thought was weird that you did that.
And it's just much less glamorous because it is actually a job for me. And I love it. And I am a writer. I have to write. It's in me. I have to do it or I don't feel good, So I don't know. It became when the thing you love becomes your job, a lot of the romance leaves necessarily. And so, I'm writing on a plane. I remember one time I'm in LA for work and my editor called, could you turn in this column in like an hour? So I pull over, I'm on Mulholland Drive and I pull over on the side of the road and I write a column on a BlackBerry.
Oof.
Like there is nothing romantic about that. So, you just get it done.
Yeah, you also get carpal tunnel for doing something like that. It sounds awful.
It was awful. It was not fun, but you go where you got to go. You got to file when you got to file.
Yes. And one thing, you do spend so much time in politics and listening to, especially lately, I think, you talk a lot about, obviously like mental health. You talk a lot about trying to almost find a balance, and the politics are so hard. I mean, I've been avoiding it as much as I sort of can, as much as possible. But yeah, it's really hard, and you are in it, and I used to be in it, and it's awful. I can't handle it. But I do try to to bring it back to pizza.
Yeah, let's go back to pizza.
Do you think though that I find myself gravitating to something like pizza because it is something, while people make it controversial at times, for the most part, it is something that we can come together on. It is something that it's almost refreshing that it's a thing that we all like, whereas we basically don't have anything we agree on right now, seemingly.
There is like a joke, like pizza, puppies, and the Beatles. Like there's a joke that like there are these three things, and maybe only these three things.
Yeah.
That everyone would be like, well, yeah, of course I love pizza and puppies and the Beatles, So that is nice. And it's simple. It's simple because, at least in my case, everyone in my house is going to like it. It's a crowd pleaser. My parents come over, they're going to like it. You don't have to think about it. It's super simple. And it's almost always a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're never going to be like, oh, what happened? Bad pizza. That doesn't happen like almost ever, So it's pretty straightforward.
I also think it's something that you look forward to. Like for me, I'm like, it's Friday? Like, we get a pizza. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to look forward to that.
Yeah.
I do want to dip back into politics just for a second to ask you, because we've asked about the role that pizza plays on the campaign trail. We've talked about that before on the show. I have not been to a convention. I'm just wondering, because I'm pretty sure that you met your husband at a convention.
I did.
If there's any pizza that you've seen, like the role that pizza plays at a convention, at a political convention, if at all.
Yeah, the only one I can remember, unsurprisingly, was the RNC in New York City in 2004.
Yeah.
And that's because it was New York City. Yeah, and right. I hadn't been to the Chicago DNC, so maybe that happened there too.
I would imagine it did. I'm sure it loom out. Like, I remember it being in Philly, and they brought in cheesesteaks. Like, that's always like the local big chain. Absolutely. They always do. Yeah.
And I went to Philly. I went to Cleveland. I went to Tampa. I've been to a bunch. Minnesota. But the 2004 RNC in New York was, by the way, the best convention. It was so fun.
I'm sure it was.
And the parties were so great. It was a much simpler time. And the Republican Party was really coalesced. And so pizza figured prominently. But other than that, I don't remember a pizza story.
Like people going to pizzerias, or just like pizza fueling parts of the convention, or not really?
People going to pizzerias. That was a thing. You did. A lot of us were just running around. I was working in the press shop at the time, and you're just running around. But like, you also had a lot of out of towners, or people up from DC, and it's all people wanted to do was go get slićes. Like,
awesome.
And it was the easy thing to deliver to the press shop. Or to a campaign headquarters. Like, it was ubiquitous. It was everywhere because people really wanted it. It wasn't just a convenience. It was, we're here in New York, we're going to get the best pizza. And so, it was a big deal for that one.
Awesome. Well, I remember too, like the conventions I've been to weren't at huge cities like New York or even Chicago, and the cities shut down. So like, I can imagine a convention in New York would be awesome because you physically can't shut down New York City. So you can actually do stuff. Whereas like Tampa, I remember you couldn't do anything. Cleveland, you couldn't really do much.
Same.
In Philly, you were so blocked out. You were so far away from the downtown. It was like, you couldn't really do anything
you lived
either.
On that campus. Yeah. The conventions are weird. They're always just weird, and some are funner than others, but and they haven't been fun for a really long time. Like, they really haven't been fun for a while.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to stay there. I was just curious about that.
I think that also fun things because speaking of New York and speaking of politics, you've been on all of the basically cable news channels. Obviously you're at CNN now, Fox News, MSNBC, all of that. Is there any of them, and you don't have to be biased to CNN because you're there now, but is there any, who has the best green room food, basically? Who has the best situation for when you're hungry? Yeah, we ask tough questions.
I'll say CNN, but that recently because we moved into Hudson Yards, and MSNBC has the commissary, and it has all of 30 Rock, and there's a lot of if people don't know, 30 Rock has like a mall inside of it and a ton of great food options. CNN didn't always have great food. And in DC, it's the worst because the DC CNN bureau is in a food desert. It's terrible. And they'll all tell you that. But when CNN moved into Hudson Yards in New York, it's weird because it's in a mall and you literally walk into the mall.
At Hudson Yards, it's crazy.
It's so weird. It's the weirdest feeling. You walk into the mall and then you find your door and you go up an elevator. But we have on one of the top floors, just for CNN, an incredible cafeteria.
Oh, wow.
Incredible. Like great food, healthy stuff, fun stuff, anything you could imagine. That's great. And then every working floor of CNN has its own kitchen loaded with snacks and drinks. And because this was all new and built out, a thing, what's it called? Almost like behind a bar, you push a button and sparkling comes out. Sparkling water comes out. So like a tap.
Yeah, like a soda tap.
A soda tap.
Yeah.
So we have it pretty good at CNN at Hudson Yards right now. But I loved being at 30 Rock and having access to all those restaurants.
Hudson Yards recently made some news for pizza. There's a Peruvian Japanese place, I think, called Papasan that's making an eel pizza. Which has gotten some. I haven't eaten it. I'm not saying it's great. I don't even really like eel. I'm just saying. But Hudson Yards, you've got two places nearby: Pizza Suprema, which people talk about.
Oh, that is great.
And also
actually.
Vito's Slices, not in Hudson Yards, but nearby.
Right.
Hudson. Yeah.
I like Vito's. I don't have a ton of pizza when I'm at work.
Yeah.
Because I don't leave the building generally.
Well, you can't.
And I'm like, I
Yards,
like
it's
to
so
get in and
difficult
out.
to get out of that building.
Yeah, it's a fortress
yes,
there.
It is.
Offices.
So this big
It's
complex,
like 20 minutes
like,
to get in and out of those offices.
And it's not like in a neighborhood. And
No.
and there's cool stuff around there. Like there's great restaurants around there, but I don't stay.
Yeah.
Like I don't stick around. I'm in and out. Literally in, do the hit, get out. So I don't have a ton of pizza there.
Pizza's tough pre-broadcast unless you're doing like election night. You're there, but it's a tough. You want your stomach to be kind of okay if you're going to be doing a hit
Correct.
or something like that. That makes
and
sense.
it's messy. It's not the best pre-TV food.
Get one on the way back, grab a slice on the way to the subway or something,
Well, this was my favorite thing I used to do. I used to commute a lot between New York and DC. And in Penn Station, there was a great pizza place. I don't remember the name.
Roses?
But before I got on my train, I'd get a small cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And I'd bring it on the train and I'd have it on the train. And let me tell you, I was the envy of everyone on that Acela every time I did it.
That's the move.
But like no shame in my game. I'd get like a whole pie. So good.
There's something about feeling like I'm a transplant, similar to you, but there's something about like when you're either at a Penn Station or a Grand Central and you have a tall boy beer and a slice of pizza, you feel like this is living the New York dream that I always wanted, right? Like that is the cool, like that doesn't really exist other places. I'm sure it does now in different ways because everything's sort of more, things aren't localized like they used to be, but like that is such a unique, weird thing to be able to do. Like to come home from work.
So you have pizza and beer?
Yeah, like I'm saying if I'm going to, when I would visit someone.
On the run, though, you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
like you have a beer and a slice of pizza at Penn Station, you're going home or you're going to visit relatives or whatever. Like, yeah, that's such a huge move. What an amazing thing to be able to do on a train.
Let me tell you, the only correct drink to have with a pizza is an orange soda.
Orange soda?
It's orange soda. That is the correct pizza accompaniment.
Alfred,
orange soda.
Go back like 40 episodes ago. I brought this up, and you
Did you
were
say that?
merciless. You made fun of me.
I'm not exactly on her
this.
side on this.
Wait, did you say that too?
I mean, I talked about how when you go to Naples, you have a pizza and you get an orangina, and it's orange soda with a pizza. I'm sorry, it's a great combo.
No, thank you for apologizing.
It's the best combo. It's the best combo, and
see,
there's nothing like it. And it's the only thing I have orange soda with. Is
just
pizza.
the sweetness.
Likewise.
The sweetness would be like, ugh. I don't know. That's
no,
not
it's
for me.
Perfection. It's so
tartness.
good.
It's not sweetness. You get the tartness.
Yeah, it's tart.
The acid.
Oh, that's like worse.
This is it. It's cutting the acid from the tomato. It's perfect.
The same principle applies to eating bagels, though. I also don't have orange soda, but I like to have the only time I really drink orange juice is when I have my bagel with Nova and cream cheese. That's sorry.
Yes, and I agree and support that.
But a bagel is so different than a pizza. I don't know. I think that. Oh, clearly, I'm just going to edit this part out because no one should hear this. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm so glad you got into that though, because Arthur always doesn't agree with me when it comes to beer and pizza, but orange. That's
I feel bloated.
Listen, I think beer and pizza is a classic combo.
Yeah.
It's a classic combo.
Thank you.
It is, but it's not mine. For me, it is orange soda and pizza. Period.
So interesting. I wanted to ask you, going back to politics, do you think, and again, this is maybe silly, but do you think based on someone's individual pizza order that it has any indication of their political beliefs?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, let's unwrap this.
My entire outlook on politics, putting ideology and principle aside, centers around authenticity. And I'm going to turn this around. I don't know if you can see this, but above my desk, I'm going to show you. I've
love the neon.
Yeah, I love. By the way, great setup.
Thank you. It's a giant photograph of Al Gore.
Yeah,
he's playing flag football, touch football with his family, and this is a couple days after the 2000 election. And you remember we had a recount. We didn't know who won. Right? It's Gore versus Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And his team tells him, go outside, go in your front yard, play football with your family. It'll look like you're really confident. Well, all that anyone wrote about was how staged and phony and forced this looked.
Yes.
And it cemented a thing he was already suffering from in his campaign, which was that he was not an authentic person.
Yeah.
So this was such an important lesson. I have this picture because I worked at the New York Times. It was hanging in the New York Times. When we left the building, they said you can take pictures. So I own this picture. But it's a constant reminder to me that authenticity matters. So when it comes to eating pizza, I don't care what you order. But if you're an out-of-towner trying to look like I get New York, we're going to see right through you when you whip out your fork and knife. Okay? Yeah. Or if you go to Chicago, but you're not from Chicago, and you order some crazy configuration that's not like a typical Chicago thing, like it's just going to look weird and inauthentic. And just be yourself. Pizza tends to reveal people.
Yes.
Very quickly. And so pizza is almost like a Rorschach, and it's almost like a microscope. You know, you can really see who a person is when they sit down to have a piece of pizza. And so it's not about the order. It's about the authenticity. Who are you? Where are you coming from? Do you admit this is not your food? You don't know anything about it. Are you pretending? Are you a phony? I think that's what pizza does in politics.
That's very interesting, and really, like there's a lot there, because there's also like, I think there's depths to that too, because first thing I started thinking about was de Blasio. And
exactly.
But here's the thing about de Blasio. He liked the Red Sox and he ate pizza with a knife and fork. There was a part of me that was like, I can understand why people hate that. There's a part of me that's also kind of like impressed that that his people weren't like, don't use the knife and fork. You're a Yankees fan now, or you're a Mets fan now. Like, there was a part of me that almost like, is like the inverse of what you're saying, of like, oh, he's kind of is being himself there, and I'm never going to make fun of him for that specifically, because he was being him, and he got a lot of crap for that.
No, but you're 100% correct in this. And I know Bill pretty well, and I adore Bill. I didn't love when he was my mayor, but Bill's like one of the nicest and smartest guys, and we're both from Massachusetts. What Bill did was remain himself.
Yes.
Despite the photo op, the cameras, the campaign. And so it worked for him. He got shit for it, but like I didn't see that as inauthentic or revealing somehow. Like, well, he's an outsider. No, he admits he's from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's not going to change his ways. And so I actually think that worked for him. Someone else coming and not really knowing, and you're going to invite cameras. And so you want people to see you doing this, but you're so clearly uncomfortable doing this. It wouldn't work. But the fork and knife thing totally worked for Bill de Blasio. You're absolutely right.
I think pizza has yet to have its, maybe I'm going to misremembering. I don't remember an incident that this happened, but I think pizza is still waiting for its campaign defining moment. I mean, Trump and Palin also went and ate pizza with a knife and a fork and got, lambasted for it in the press. But I mean, like, we're living in that world now. So it's, it didn't have its defining moment in that respect there then too. And we talked about de Blasio. We didn't talk about Trump and Palin doing it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's tricky. Pizza's tricky. There's no right answer for it on the campaign trail. But I think you can get into, like, states like Rhode Island aren't very politically important, right? So you're not going to run into like the pizza strip situation in Rhode Island, but like New York and the big cities, this is where this all kind of comes out. Chicago. And now New Haven, which is like,
oh boy. Okay. We're going there.
I don't get it. And maybe you guys being pizza experts can educate me. I live in Connecticut. I've had Pepe's. I've had the original New Haven pizza. It's fine. It's fine. I don't get it. What makes it different?
Throwing bombs here in your tri-state area. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's not bad. It's fine. I really don't get what makes it very different.
I think it's the crispiness, of the pie relative to the amount of sauce and cheese, and also the whole culture of the clam pie. I think is something that people get into. There's the charring effect, which also people like that accent. That kind of like burnt, like darkened kind of char situation. Yeah. So they like that contrast between the sweetness and the tartness of the sauce and the bitterness of the burn. Those are kind of core elements of that pizza. It's not a hill I'll die on. I'm a New Yorker. I love a New York sliće, but I like making an occasional pilgrimage up to Connecticut. The place that I always, when I saw that you were in Connecticut, the place that I always kind of fixate on in Connecticut, I always think it's in Darien, but it's not. It's in Waterbury, which is Dominic and Pia, which is I think 45 minutes away from Darien. But it's a place
these two towns could not be more disparate.
I know. I don't know why. And one starts with a W, one starts with a D, but I don't know, for some reason I always think of them. I always conflate them. But anyway, Dominic
so
and
what's
Pia
the thing about that pizza?
It's just it's almost like a New York sliće place, but it's it's Alfred, you're just going to have to live with it because this is going to be
I love that we're normalizing
from now I have to figure out how to spell sliće for the description of this podcast.
Accent
what is it? How is it spelled? Accent aigu?
It's spelled the same way. It's just sliće.
Oh, God. It's with the accent. Okay. Oh, no. I like that now. Okay. That makes it easier.
Anyway,
well, listen, I'm up there a bit that way, so
try Dominic
I will
and
try
Pia's.
that.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a great spot. I would get a full pie. They have slices, but I would get a full pie.
Okay, great.
I
will try it.
Well, let me one real quick about the New Haven thing. So I remember it was like, for me, it was the height of finding out that it was like ranked #1 on literally lists that Arthur published. That it was like the #1 pizza.
They must have paid for that. They must have paid for that, right?
Well, people were loving it. And I had a friend who was from New Haven, and I was literally like, let's go, let's try it. I'm not going to like it. I know I'm not going to like it. So part of me was like the idea of it being overhyped and me already being like, I am not going to like this pizza. When we went there and I finally had a margarita and the clam pizza, I thought they were fabulous. I thought they were unbelievable.
Fabulous. Wow,
because I rarely use that word. That might have been the first time I've said it out loud.
Fabulous.
I've written it, never say it. So that was historic.
Yeah.
But it was so good. And part of it was because I thought it was going to be terrible. I was like, this is going to be ridiculous. And I don't know, it hit me really hard. So I've only had it once.
I had higher expectations. I had high expectations.
A lot of it's context. I've
heard about this for so long. And I truly believed that the New Haven pizza was just marketing. But I got there and I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
interesting. It's good though. We need those opinions.
That's
Essie, you are a pizza iconoclast. I love it. We usually end these episodes by asking you a series of quick fire questions.
Okay.
Short answers, yes, no, however you want to answer them. Will you go into a New York sliće spot? Will you have we wait for a fresh pie, or will you take whatever is in the display and ask for a reheat?
Whatever is in the display,
There you go.
literally whatever's
Correct.
there. Mhm.
That's correct.
Yep.
To blot or not to blot?
Not to
Degrees-
blot.
Not to blot.
Nope.
Love it. Appreciate that.
Definitive.
Best way to dress a New York City slice. You've got your parm, you've got your oregano, your
Yeah.
garlic powder, your red pepper flakes. What do you do?
I'm a parm purist, just parm.
Parm purist.
for
What
me.
about there is occasionally a salt shaker on those tables. Thoughts
Mhm.
on applying salt?
A good New York sliće does not need extra
Agreed.
salt. It is already salty.
Yes. White slice. Yes or no?
I love a white slice.
Why?
Well, usually it's a goat cheese or a ricotta, and I like
Ooh.
both of those.
Okay.
And it's a little lighter for me. So when
Okay.
I'm maybe in the mood for something a little less greasy, a little lighter,
Okay.
I'll go for a white slice. I love a white slice. It's great.
Is ranch okay on pizza?
Oof. It does nothing for me,
Okay.
but I appear to be in the minority, and I love people putting weird stuff on things. Like that's your thing. That's great, but it does nothing for me. No. And I like ranch, but I don't want it there.
Context wise, I've heard people talking about dipping their crust in it. And that to me, I'm like, all right, that sort of makes it more sense. That makes more sense to me about having ranch on a pizza if it's in that context. But
I just saw a weird new thing. It might be Hidden Valley Ranch is doing like a pizza ranch sauce.
oof.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that. Pizza has invaded everything. There's pizza Cheetos. There's
Yes,
ranch. I don't know.
yeah.
Everything is everything. There's nothing can be itself anymore.
That's right. I don't
Um,
dismiss the ranch, but it's not for me.
Is there any? This is kind of a weird question that Alfred
Uh-oh.
always winces at when I ask. Is there any way that you eat pizza alone that you wouldn't do with other people?
I like that question.
Mm.
I like that question
Hmm.
because I have an answer for that, which is I devour it without consequences and am an animal. And if people are around, I pretend to have some kind of dignity. That's why I like that question.
I'm similar. Here's the only difference. Like 4 slices instead of 2.
No, good point. Yes,
Like-
100%. Yeah.
Alone, I'll just have more.
Yeah.
When I'm with people, I'll try to be a little dainty and maybe have 1 or 2. But if I'm alone, I'll generally eat more.
Oh yeah, 4 at least.
Is there
Totally.
Is there a topping that you don't like on pizza? I mean, obviously you don't like pizza strips, but is there a topping on your pizza?
Don't even put that in the same category, please. Okay. Not pizza. No. I like peppers. I like sausage. I like pepperoni. I like olives. I like eggplant a lot.
Mushrooms.
So anchovies,
mushrooms.
pineapple, you're all good with that?
Oh, I don't like anchovies and I don't do pineapple. I don't like pineapple, but
Chicken.
Some people are anti-chicken on pizza.
Yeah, I love it.
But
I
then
don't
there's
think I've-
buffalo chicken on pizza. There's barbecue chicken pizza. People I don't know.
I don't think I've had it, but I wouldn't be averse to it, but I don't think I've ordered it. And then I've also seen like penne on pizza.
Yeah. Yep. It's a
At
thing.
like a good New York sliće place might have
Yeah.
a pizza with pasta on it. I haven't tried that, but I like pasta.
It's not
I might
bad.
love that.
They
not
the penne, and
I'm
they
sure
also
it's
do the vodka penne or the ziti slice. Yeah, you could see that.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Um,
love vodka sauce. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Me
good.
too.
It's good.
Is there anything about pizza that makes you mad?
Yeah. When people call things pizza that aren't pizza. Yeah. Makes
Do you
me really
judge-
mad.
Do you judge people who leave behind pizza bones, or do you leave behind pizza bones yourself? The crust at the rim of the pizza on the plate.
I don't judge. That's fine. I usually eat, if it's good, I usually eat the crust, but sometimes I don't. I don't like crust with bubbles and that crust that's too crispy or burned. I don't like that, but usually I'll eat a good crust.
And my last one: what's your go-to method for reheating a slice?
I don't reheat. I
There
eat
you
it cold.
go. I agree.
Okay.
That's I found to be, at least with the people we speak to, that's a minority opinion from our
Really?
guests. Yeah, I thought
Oh.
that was a weird question. I'm like, everyone has it cold. No, it in terms of our guests, that's been a thing, and it's very strange to me.
Well, there's something for both of us here, Alfred, because orange soda and the cold slice. I don't do the cold slice, so there you go.
Yeah.
Coming together over pizza, different agreement, different viewpoints. It's great.
Well, I loved this. This was so fun.
Well, I like to end it with one last one. What's your perfect slice? Where are you getting it from? What's on it?
Yeah, my perfect slice is Jay's.
Okay.
It's Jay's, and it's plain cheese
Okay.
with parm. That's my perfect slice. And I don't get it enough because I'm not in Chelsea very often. But if I am, I've dragged a lot of people
Good. Yeah.
to that pizza spot. Like I'm an evangelist for Jay's
Yeah.
Pizza.
All right, gonna have to
So,
hit it.
check it
I'm
out. It's
down.
great.
If you have any other, this is again, not many opportunities to have this full-on pizza conversation. If we missed
Yeah, I
anything,
don't
if
get
you
this
have
often.
anything else you want to get off your chest about pizza, this is your time. Did we miss anything? Any controversial opinions?
My most controversial and important opinion was about Rhode Island red bread. So I got that out. And no, I feel good. We covered a lot here.
Good.
We covered a
Yes,
lot.
we did. We always
like
do.
it.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much, Essie. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was so fun. Thank you guys.
Attention, everyone, coast to coast, and all the ships at sea.
It's time for pizza news.
Correction from last week. Friend of the show, Scott Wiener, called the Pizza Pod Party News Desk to note that when I reported on Polly and Mrs. G's new cookbook, Pizza from the Heart, I incorrectly said Mary Ann Giordano instead of Giannone. I apparently had Chicago's Giordano's on the brain while discussing Deep Dish with Ike Barinholtz earlier in the episode. Scott, thanks for listening. Apologies, Polly and Mrs. G. All right. The news. According to Eater, a new brand, local-style chips, which actually first appeared on the set of The Bear, has launched some Windy City-centric flavors: Italian beef, Chicago hot dog, and deep dish. Jardinera flavor is in the works. Do you say Jardinera or Jardinera? I always forget. I feel like I've asked you this question before.
I don't really say it very often, so I don't know how I say it.
Okay. For Trend Hunter, Chip Shop Curry Pizza is making its way to the UK as a limited edition menu item at Asda with the help of Destiny Harold, aka the Chip Shop Diva. This is one of those times where I have no idea what I'm saying. It's topped with curry sauce, chicken, and fries. Brooklyn Paper reports that DeFara Pizza, the Brooklyn institution often cited as among New York's best, has partnered with Boss Bites to launch a frozen pizza line, classic cheese and pepperoni for under $10. It's currently available at a few local grocery stores with expansion to national chains in late spring. You know, Alfred, I've been doing this long enough to remember when there was a controversy around DeFara selling their slices for $5 each, and now you can get a full pie, although smaller, for 10 or less.
Today's topic is
Jamaican beef patties. Beef patties and pizza may seem like an unlikely pairing, one unnoticed by tourists and unremarkable to New Yorkers, but they're a regular side at many slice joints, often sliced open and reheated, topped with mozzarella and sometimes pepperoni. In 1995, the New York Times attributed their proliferation in pizzerias to a distributor for Tower Isle, a Brooklyn-based patty company looking to expand beyond Caribbean New Yorkers. Alfred, have you ever had a Jamaican beef patty at a slice shop?
I don't think I've actually had it. I always look at them. They're like a little, almost a ravioli, a fried-looking ravioli, like a large ravioli that you know is filled with something you don't really know what. And they're very popular, at least at pizzerias, at slice shops in New York City. But I don't think I've ever really tried one at a slice shop. I don't know.
Yeah, I had kind of not even noticed them for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you've got your stromboli, you've got your garlic knots sitting in the display.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, kind of one day it dawned on me that I had seen them at pizzerias many times over and had never had one. So I ordered one, and I realized also as part of the ordering that, you know, they've got on the menu, it says like with cheese and pepperoni. And that kind of just blew my mind. I did not understand what was happening, but I ordered it that way, and they slice it open and they, you know, put the cheese on and the pepperoni, and it was really good. I really liked it.
Interesting. Yeah. It just feels like we've talked about this sort of thing before where it seems like wasted calories when all I want is pizza, usually at that moment. So if I'm walking into a slice shop, that's what I want, a slice. So some of the other stuff
but you know,
I just sort of ignore.
For some reason, like I feel that way, and we've discussed this with calzones. Like I just don't understand getting a calzone at a pizzeria, and I don't, garlic knots. It's not something I really order. But for some reason, I am drawn to doing the Jamaican beef patty with the mozzarella and the pepperoni. I think there's just something so incongruous to me about those two things going together that I love it.
Thank you so much for listening. You heard my speech above. If you've made it this far, support the podcast if you can. We will do episodes when we can. We're busy fellas ourselves, and this is a lot of work doing this podcast, but we enjoy it, and we do think that there is sort of maybe something missing in this this podcast space where we can talk about pizza in a really fun, human, cultural kind of way, where we can have debates and have fun at the same time.
I really loved having S.E. Cupp on the show. I thought it was really great.
She's great.
Good book on your part. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, she's great. Always up for a lot of things. I've been a booker for a big chunk of my career, and she's always a good person to get on your show, your podcast, your whatever. Thanks again. See you next week. We got another good one for you.
Follow us on Twitter. He's Alfred Schultz. There's no T in Schultz. I'm Arthur Bovino at NYC Best Pizza. Follow the show at Pizza Pod Party and SE Cup on Instagram and Twitter at SE Cup, and on Blue Sky, SE Cup 1. And how do people say Blue Sky handles? I have no idea. And remember, a great pie is one you're already thinking about having again before you finish the first slice.
I love you all immensely.
The Pizza Pod Party. Please rate and review the podcast. The Pizza Pod Party is hosted by Arthur Bovino and Alfred Schultz. Produced by Arthur Bovino and Alfred Schultz. Created by Arthur Bovino and Alfred Schultz. Researched by Arthur Bovino. Engineered, edited, and mixed by Alfred Schultz. Voiced by the fabulous Holly Palmieri.